Welcome to the Automation Car Design Competition. Over 450 entries, 11 categories, and Mr. Regular as a guest judge in his very own special category. The entries will be judged in 2 rounds, the preliminaries and the finals, for each category. The categories span from way back 40s luxury barges all the way to futuristic concept cars. The finals are judged in more detail on a scale from 0 to 10 in the main category and on a scale of 0 to 5 in 4 secondary categories for a maximum score of 30 points in total. At the end, there can only be one to claim victory in the category. Today we shall find out who will win in the 70s light sport category. And the first one of 4 finalists scoring a 7 in the preliminaries is Bleach Drinker with this creation. Quite fancy that. We clearly see we have arrived in the late 70s, early 80s. That's some pretty neat design. Loving the rear. But what do the judges say about this one?
Good looking car, but conveys the feeling of a muscle car and not a light sports car.
Interesting looking car, but the excess of the rear grinds against the simple sides. Overall, doesn't deliver the sport-light vibes to me, and the body doesn't help either.
Angular and brutish, with a heavier impression than its wheelbase conveys. The design is getting towards the 80s.
A lot of design elements have been reused all throughout the body. Looks okay.
The grills used are present on both sides, but on the rear they are overused and it breaks the consistency.
The aesthetic on the front and rear is spot on. The sides are a bit of a missed opportunity.
Very overdone rear, but nicely crafted front.
Good work with the lettering and the vents placement on the rear fascia.
The work on the grille and the taillight array is quite good. Outside of this, the approach is very minimal.
Interesting combination of the vents and grills.
The placement and use of the grills in the rear fascia is interesting, but nothing much else.
Outside of the concept-like rear, it's not breaking any massive molds.
Cats can sleep in the exhaust pipe. Otherwise, all the choices make sense and the car fits into the market pretty well.
Except for the stovepipe diameter exhaust and a bit high complexity engine, quite spot on.
Tech-wise, this is an excellent scorer. The engine is an engineer's wet dream and a mechanic's nightmare.
Next up is Dead Punch a Toy 4, once again in the finals, but well yeah, that's to be expected with a design like this. Look how pretty it is. It's looking great. Really nice stripes on the rear, yeah, and this rear definitely looks like early 80s where this car would come out eventually, after a few years in the making, and it's beautifully crafted. With the bumpers here, and yeah, that just all fits. Very nice, really like this one. But that doesn't matter. So, what do the people who matter think of this?
That's one amazing design, great choice of color, great composition of fixtures and absolutely fits to the 70s. I can imagine driving down the road in one of these.
This is amazing. Fits the era perfectly in the color choices, distribution of black plastic and chrome, and run versus square balance between fixture and body.
This is a quintessential 70s light sport car. Enough said.
Black striping going all around the car, and the same bumper has been used on the front and rear.
There are some recalls of the design in the custom bumpers used and the black strip around the car.
I am not entirely convinced by the taillight array, but the underpinnings are strong.
very carefully crafted car with a perfectly fitting front and rear, and small details like the badging on the side.
A huge amount of care and consciousness put in the front mix of fixtures and rear light composition.
Once again, Dead Pantry Toys penchant for picture-perfect details shines.
The entire rear is made with headlights and a single bumper bar, very interesting.
An interesting use of taillights merged with black stripes in the back and bumpers one inside the other.
Unifying composite fixtures is a particular skill.
Good choices in the chassis, a decent engine, but premium interior? Seems weird and does not quite work out.
Realistic choice to use a fiberglass body, but semi-clad, premium interior and advanced safety are a strange combo.
The malaise is an apt name. Sadly, whether it's due to the weaker engine or the peculiarities of the body or the cost of the panel material, this car does not perform very well in the light sports segment.
Our third finalist is Martine PL66. This green bastard car that looks quite a bit more, in my eyes at least, like an American muscle coupe from the late 70s, rather than a light sports car. But it is an American interpretation. Don't really know about the front mirrors being, or the wing mirrors being that far to the front. It's an interesting looking car. That's why it's in the finals. Definitely. It's not bad whatsoever. But, alright. Let me shut up for a moment.
Brutal styling for a light sports car, very interesting design. The transparent grille allows you to admire the engine.
I made involuntary funny noises when I saw this, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. A Rover Ryston plastic, perhaps.
The rear does not quite look like the same car, and don't even mention the sides.
4 round lights front and rear, that's it. Not even a bumper recall on the two ends of the car.
I can't fault the consistency head to tip.
There is a font mess. We have 3 different fonts on the car, all have been used well, but it just looks out of place.
3 different fonts on the rear don't help, and I don't like the gap between the lower front headlight and the end of the grille.
A lot of work has gone into constructing the front and rear. The gap in the headlights and the grille space is a bit disconcerting though.
A lot of good ideas, like the transparent grille, but for the late 70s there's a bit too much chrome.
Good use of fixture and missed opportunity to create a black wrap around the chrome rear bumper.
I'm giving this extra points for managing to look so different while using the same techniques.
Decent chassis choices and a decent engine make the car a good performer, even with the front tires being wider than the rear.
Front wheel drive car with 200 tires width on front and 175 on rear? I can smell the weed smoked by engineering department from here.
The engine is interesting. Eyebrow-raising tyre choices. Somehow great all-around performance.
And our final car in the finals of Category D is by Mr. Chips. And that's quite an imposing looking front for the early 80s or late 70s. Like the off-center element here makes room for the stripes, that's for sure. It's a good looker. I really like the design of the front. Nice lines along the side. As we have seen with some other cars as well, this is just making them a little stronger overall. And, well, you can't open the doors really, but the rims are proper style for that kind of car. And Ah, that's a really nice use for the... Yeah, some lights for the plate. Really cool. Nicely crafted. What do the judges say about this one?
A very well done and very sporty design. This car feels at home in the light sport category aesthetically. The rear is just a bit of a letdown.
The front adds some slight Porsche 944 resemblance. It is well done and delivers a sporty feel. Unfortunately, the rear is not good as the front will make you think.
The front is pure nut. Loud, aggressive, full of rally sport intent. The rear is budget.
Again, a case of the rear not feeling like the same car on the front. The striping could have been more complete.
Looking at the rear, you can't expect such front, and vice versa.
If only the same attention had been paid to the rear as the front, that stripe on the bonnet going over the roof and the trunk would have been mint.
The front has great detailing, like the offset scoop, the badging. Very era correct.
I really like the front details, like the 4 vents, the bonnet detailing and the vents on the bumper.
It's things like the stripes and the asymmetrical intake and the multiple parts of the bumper that create a strong impression. Touches like the boot latch fixture are a plus.
Very good arrangement of the front fixtures and a good choice of paint on the car and the wheels.
A nice use of the antenna for the rear plate light and a good front arrangement.
Judicious asymmetry tickles my fancy.
Solid choices all around and a good score.
Super-loaded fuel and vented disc are a bit unusual as choices for a 1979 car.
A quite solid contender. Very late spooling boost, almost race car levels.
And this concludes Category D. We do have a winner, and a clear one at that. Another crown goes to Dead Puncher Toy 4 with 24.7 score. Second place finisher, Mr. Chips with 21.7. And third place goes to Bleach Drinker with 19.7 final score. Congratulations to the winner and the podium finishers, and hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.